So on this LG 6-ton or 8-ton air handler, we got a code. First we got a code for CH03, like the communication between where you see that see a thermostat hanging off by a wire over there that we were just playing with. Dangling, you see the back of it right there. The CH03 is usually when one of those goes down. We corrected that error, switched out the thermostat for a known good one. After the CH03 cleared code, a CH09 came up, and the CH09 is the control board for inside the air handler. And the control board is right there inside that box. So we switched out the CH09. Now out of another unit, he had spare units. That's one thing, when you're in this business right here, when you do this, you better have spare parts. If you don't have spare parts, and this unit, this is about 8 years old, and it goes 24/7, 365. It only turns on when PG&E power goes out, or if there's any cleanup maintenance needed. But other than that, this is the first board to go down that we've ever seen on any of the air handlers. So I gotta say, that's a good thumbs up for reliability. But I did go a little extra. When I installed all these units, we had bearings start, the bearings started making noise. And so you see right up there, I'm taking out the motors to replace the motors because he didn't want the bearings, he didn't want the motors to go out. So just at the first sign of any noise, the owner says, hey, replace the bearings. I don't want them to go out on me. Just do it. And so those have been running for years. And before they go out, they're being replaced, preventative maintenance. And then this is what I accredit saving the systems. One thing I've learned over the years, I have everybody install. Now, if they don't want to install this, they each their own, suffer when you have problems. This is a surge protector, voltage spike detector, a few other things I can't even remember right now. My mind is blank. I've been in that room roasting. But here's the part number. And everybody who is doing something very important and you don't want your circuit boards to get fried all the time and everything like that, always install these on your electrical panels. And we have another one over here. And my son actually, a video a long time ago, my son actually installed these. This was his first time installing these, and that was his installation and his doing. And that's our dedicated circuit panel just for our HVAC only. Anything to do with what we put in, we got a dedicated panel to keep everybody's filthy little sparky fingers out of here and stop throwing shit on our panels and messing our stuff up. And so this was everything that we put in. The only thing that's out of the ordinary on here, that's our HVAC, but we put it in too, is the 3 VFDs. Actually it was 4 VFDs for the blower system. And the blower system VFDs were, here's the AC Smart, just got a new epoxied room. And there's our units that we stuck up years ago, and this room is getting a complete makeover. This was a subculture underwater undertide system. It's getting converted over. And then over here is the VFDs that we installed years ago because he was roasting these motors out and over ramping them the way they were installed direct. It's just on or off full speed, and it was way too much. And these bearings on here are supposed to be changed after 3 years. It's been several years now, and he'll probably be able to go 8, 9, 10 years, because if you look at the controllers, it's only running 2.2 amps, 42%, 31 hertz. And that's all it needs. And actually those motors pull 4.6 amps, I believe it was. But we have it turned down so low for his application they're just idling, they're just cruising. There's no stress, nothing on them. So the bearings and the motors should last a decade instead of being burnt by 3 years. And the VFDs aren't running hard, and they run 24/7. This is not on any kind of timer or anything like that. It's basically you turn them on now and turn them off in 10 years when it's time to service. So when you're doing VFDs, the recommended, I think, on the ABBs was to take them down and send them in and have them recapped, and they go through a service on them, and then they send them back to you and you put them back up. So in 10 years time, which is coming up really soon actually, it'll be time to pull these guys down, send them in for repair. This is the spare. It was on another unit. It was only used for about a year. And so when that 10-year mark comes up, one of these will be pulled off. This will be put in its place. This will get sent out to ABB. We'll get it back. I'll put it back in. Then I'll pull off the next one and put in the temporary replacement. He could stay up and running. And then we'll actually send in the temporary replacement that has almost no run hours on it at all. One important thing you must know though is that capacitors have a service life even if you don't use them. So this was recently used just like 2 years ago or so, once again on the other side of the building. But I'll probably take it and I'll hook it up to 220 and I'll hook it up to the motor and I'll run it you know, for an hour or so or overnight, and then hang it back up on the wall, because you want to keep the capacitors in use. You don't want to let the electronics just sit. And that's about it. So one circuit board after many years. This is our first one we've ever done. And get voltage spike and surge protector, very important. Everybody always complains about motors and or boards and computers going out and controls. It's usually because you're electrical. If you have good electrical, these don't roast. It's insurance.